Let me start by addressing my solidarity and my absolute compassion vis-à-vis the Ukrainian people, and we're doing this in front of millions of viewers. Russia's invasion and attack on Ukraine is unacceptable. And Mr. Macron, the efforts you have made to try, on behalf of France, to come up with ways and means to secure peace, your efforts deserve our support, clearly. Should we help Ukraine? Of course. Humanitarian aid? Of course. Financial aid? Yes, of course. Defense equipment? Yes, of course.
Incidentally, what you've just said is exactly the opposite of what historically you have always said. I believe you were one of the first European political leaders in 2014 to recognize the result of the referendum in Crimea. I think since World War II, basically, we've no longer gone along with forced annexation in Europe. You are, in fact, in Russia's grip. In 2015, you, madam, took out a loan with the first Czech Russian bank, which is close to the authorities, and you reworked it. I mean, all of this is fact and well known. Working with a number of people who were directly related and involved in the war in Syria. So you're not talking about other leaders, but just about your banker when you mentioned Russia. So obviously, when there are brave decisions to make, neither you nor your representatives are in attendance. And it's hardly surprising that 5 years ago, Russia interfered in the campaign to destabilize me, and it's hardly surprising that you were a bit unsure what to say, because you're just not going to be able to operate to defend French interests because of how they're tied with yours.
Emmanuel Macron has access to all of the information provided by French intelligence services, and you know fully well that this is wrong. You know fully well that I am a completely free woman. I am a patriot. I have been a patriot my whole life, and I defend France and the French people, no matter the circumstances. I tracked down a tweet dating back to November 9th, 2014. I support a free Ukraine, says the tweet, that is subject to the influence of neither the US nor the EU nor Russia. That was my position. It was the same for Iraq in 2003, and the same for Ukraine now.
But a Ukraine without Crimea, madam?
We'll get to that. Crimea did not pose that many problems, and I remember that you hosted with much fanfare Mr. Putin in Versailles.
I hosted a head of state, not my banker.
Why was I forced to take out a loan?
So you took one out then?
And that's something that everybody knows, is because no French bank agreed to give me a loan. And at the time, you found it so outrageous that you enacted a piece of legislation on the Bank of Democracy, which you never actually implemented. Why didn't you, Mr. Macron? Why didn't you see that effort through? That Bank of Democracy initiative, you knew that this would fill a democratic gap, whereby banks get to decide which political party to support and which not to.
Look, 2015 was when you took that loan out. You still haven't paid it back. So it's not about the Democracy Bank or anything. Other candidates in this election, such as Mr. Zemmour, didn't go out and take a loan out in Hungary or elsewhere.
They found a bank that would loan them the money in France.
So, okay, it's not the same then.
It takes a while to pay back a loan. There are millions of French people who, over the past 5 years, have gone to the bank to get loans, to buy a car, or to mortgage their house. They don't owe you a thing. All they want to do is repay their loans, just like me.
And me. But as you said, they go and take out a loan in a French bank. They don't go out abroad to get a Russian bank related to the authorities for millions and then not pay it back.
Mr. Macron, I simply cannot let you say that.
Look, you said it yourself. I too have loans, like all of our fellow citizens, to buy a house or buy a car, I mean, to use your examples. But we have not gone and taken a loan out in Russian banks.
It's rather dishonest, Mr. Macron, to stop me from
Look, I know you're unhappy with it, but it's a fact.
getting a loan from a French bank and then blaming me for going abroad to get one there.
Honestly, did I stop you from getting a loan in a French bank in 2015?
Weren't you the Minister for the Economy back in the day?
Well, I wasn't Minister of Finance. I didn't have the banks. You know, no one did anything there.